To start the Millionaire Shortbread, you're going to need to make the first layer. And the first layer is made up of butter, sugar and flour. It's just a pastry base. So I've got 125 grams of butter. It's sort of come to room temperature now. I've got 50 grams of white sugar, which is just caster sugar. And I've got 175 grams of self-raising, which is flour that's already got a raising agent in it. Self-raising flour, 175 grams. And I've just put this into my food processor. I absolutely love this food processor, and I will be doing a video on it. But this is my new food processor, and we're just going to blitz this, and it's going to take maximum 1 minute. So we're just going to check this out. It's not done yet. We're just going to move this around. What you can also do is you can add a tablespoon or two of cold water to this as well. But we're just waiting for it to come together. There we go. So it's come together now. So we're just going to pop this into our prepared tin. So my mixture is just going to go in here. There we go. Okay, so just move this in. There we go. Okay, so I've just got a baking sheet in here. This is just non-stick paper, and I haven't cut it at all, I've just folded it. So it's a bit of a pain in the bum at this point, but that's okay. I just didn't want to have any leaks in the bottom, but obviously you can do whatever you want. And we're just going to push it down. You'll probably find if you've used either really soft butter or margarine, this is a little bit softer, this mixture. But obviously I've used butter, and so it's just a little bit harder to push down, but this is a good thing. Now, if you have time, once you've done this, you can actually pop this in the fridge or the freezer for a little bit. Fridge about half an hour, freezer about 10-20 minutes, and then bake it. And that's going to prevent it from rising. But it's not absolutely necessary. And if you push it down really well and you just prick a couple of holes on the bottom, you should be fine. It's pretty much smooth now, so I'm going to pop it into a preheated oven. I've preheated to 170, and it's not going to go in for long. It's going in for around about 15 minutes. The base is in the oven, and now I've got 200 grams of condensed milk in there. Make sure that you use condensed milk and not evaporated milk, because they're not the same thing. So 125 grams of butter and 125 grams of sugar. And I'm just going to heat this up for about 5 minutes. And to that, I'm just going to add a little bit of golden syrup. You can measure this out, but a couple of good squeezes is enough, to be honest. There we go. You're looking at about 2 tablespoons if you're measuring it. And we're just going to stir this until it starts to go like a light brown. So it shouldn't take longer than about 5 minutes. And then we can continue to stir it off the heat for just another couple of minutes. You can see now that this is really bubbling. That's okay. What that's telling us is that this is going to change colour soon. You can probably see that it's starting to change colour now, so we'll just let it go a couple of shades darker, and then we're going to take it off. So I think this is dark enough now. So I'm just going to take it off the heat. Because I'm using an electric hob, it does retain the heat quite a lot, whereas if you use a gas hob, the heat stops very much quicker. So I've just got to make sure that I actually take it off the hob, and we're just going to stir it just for another minute or so, and then pour it over the base when it comes out. The base has just come out of the oven. As you can see, it didn't really puff up, so we're alright. It's still a little bit soft in the middle, which is lovely. And I've got my caramel here, and we're just going to pour it over quite quickly. I finished cooking this around about 3 or 4 minutes ago. I stirred it for about a minute, and then I've just left it so that it's not so hot. And then we're just going to distribute it just by letting gravity do its thing. So we now need to leave that to cool before we put the chocolate on the top. In here I have 180 grams of chocolate that I have melted. You can use dark or milk, but I've actually used a combination of the two. And I'm just going to stir it until there's no more lumps. There are a few air bubbles, but it's not the end of the world. Okay, I think that is lump free. So if I just move this forward. This has been on the side for about half an hour, and I can tip it and there's not any movement. So that's good, and it's completely cool to the touch here. So all I'm going to do is pour the chocolate on, and then I'm going to move it around, and if it's not completely flat, then I'll get a palette knife out and I'll just smooth over the top. Hopefully you can see this now. I'm just going to leave this for about half an hour, and then I'll pop it into the fridge. You really need to have it in the fridge and completely cold before you serve it, so make sure that you've got to this stage at least 2 to 3 hours before you want to eat it. So just pull this away from the sides. Okay, and there we go. Now, in order to get neat sides, what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim off the edges, and then I'm going to cut it 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to end up with 16 little pieces. Obviously you can do it bigger, but this is not the healthy option. So all I need to do, I'm using a non-serrated knife, and I'm just going to slice off the sides. And if you can see that, we have biscuit, then we have caramel, and then we have chocolate on the top. This is what they look like. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you give these a go, and I hope you like them, and if you do, please leave a comment because I'd love to hear how they went for you. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.